All right, we're going to show you how we build roads here at Hall of Fame Lego. Let's see, this is a finished road plate. It's pretty cool, nice and smooth. Got a center dividing line. We build them to be the same size as one of these half plates because doing it that way fits in really well with just about all of our sets. I also want to build it so that obviously this is built, you can see this is built sideways. It's really, you know, as you're building this, we'll show you this as we go. This is just an ugly looking wall. A mix of pieces that are bricks that are 1 stud wide and 2 stud wide, but keeping the smooth side the same. Setting it sideways looks like this. We also want to build it so that even though the side is smooth, we want to be able to interlock with other pieces. So show you how we do that too, okay? All right, so let's get to building. So this 32 studs wall is what we want. So like I said, first good way to start, 4x8 tile, or 2x8 tile, 4 of them. And just start using bricks and start building up your wall. Again, like you can see, there's a mix of bricks that are 1 stud wide and 2 studs wide. And I do a mix of tiles and bricks as we go, and we'll explain why we do that a little bit more as we go along. Nice thing about doing roads this way, I mean, I've seen roads done a million different ways by collectors. You know, you might be different, but I've got a ton of black pieces laying around from a lot of sets that just not using these pieces normally. So why not embrace all these pieces and find a use for them? So plus, as you'll see when we're done, I think it makes for a cool road when we're done. So this part can get a little bit tedious, but bear with us. So one thing that we showed at the beginning, we want to be able to have this as we're building. We want to be able to have it connect with other road pieces. Okay, we also want it to be able to, it sits sideways like this. We also want to be able to, if we happen to want to build a piece that is not sideways, so we want to be able to fit into those kind of pieces too. So what I've done is I've built a template that I want to be able to have this fit into, okay? So keep that standard so that every sideways road piece can fit into this, and if we build some other things that we want to connect to. Okay, so what we do then is use the template as we're going along to keep in mind, give us an idea of where we're going to have to put the stud into. Okay, so we're getting kind of close here. I want another row of plates on this one. Okay, so we're getting close. Now let me show you how I build these connectors. Obviously, you don't want to just put sitting sideways. You got to build it make the piece sideways in there so it fits properly, or else it's not going to match up right. So here's what we do. Got a lot of these pieces, and they really come in handy. Let me show you what happens here. Okay. I've got a few of these pre-built that we're going to use. What's going to happen is this is going to sit sideways and sit right on here, and it's going to be a fit perfectly with our grid. Okay. Now the trick is, obviously, this is smooth on one side. Got plenty of these pieces. That's okay for it to connect like that. It's just going to sit like that for now. What'll happen is then we build on top of it, it'll be locked into place. We'll do the same thing over on this side. Okay. Now let's build this out a little bit more. You can just kind of see where we're headed. And it doesn't even have to be a regular, you know, I use a lot of these too. I actually have a ton of these, and it just kind of fits well. Just sit in there like that. Okay, ready for some more tiles in here. Hope you guys can see that okay. Okay, so now you see, still this piece is just kind of sitting in there. But now that we're on the end, put a block on top of that. Same thing on this side. It's not going anywhere. And you'll see then when you flip this on its side, attach the template, boom. Everything's going to be super smooth. And in the future, if we have to build a road piece, and you'll see, and this will be another video we do another time, intersection probably is going to get built like this, and it's just going to fit in there perfect. So, okay, so just keep on building up your wall with a variety of pieces. Now, one thing, so we talked about earlier, 32 studs long, okay? And the goal is to be the same size as one of these, so it fits in perfectly with other pieces. Okay, so at 32 long, this is 16 studs wide, but since we're building vertically, a little understanding of Lego math helps. So 16 studs horizontally is the same as 13 2/3 bricks tall. Okay, and I'll show you a little bit more about that later and how that works. So yeah, obviously, you know, a nice solid black road, but you also want to have, and I'll show you in the one piece that I've already built here, you want your dividing line. So what's happened is then you get up to a certain level, basically in the middle of your wall, you want to add in your dividing line. You can see on this one, I've built a solid yellow dividing line, but that's one of the neat things about building roads this way. you can have any kind of dividing line as long as you have the pieces to back it up. So, so if it's 13 and, of course, and I keep getting the math wrong myself, it is 13 1/3 studs tall. Is this what you want this to be? So, basically, you divide that in two, and that tells you how far up you want to put, because you want your dividing line to be in the middle. Okay. So we want to build up 6 1/3 blocks. How far are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/3. So we're 5 1/3 blocks tall. We want to do one more solid thing of blocks here, and then we're going to be ready to put in our dividing line. Okay. Appreciate everybody following along. Like I said, we're fairly new to posting to YouTube, so bear with us. If you have any questions or suggestions, put them in the comments for us, and we'll do better next time. Okay, so we've gotten to the point now. This is 6 1/3 studs tall. Okay, now I want to put in my dividing line in my road. Now you see here, like I said, I did a solid yellow line here, but how about for this one, we put in a dotted line. All comes down to if you've got enough little yellow tiles like this. This is a neat little effect. And thing to keep in mind too, like I said, you're only seeing the top here. I put those in there like this, but you can use pieces like this. And nobody's ever going to see that bottom. See that? Okay. So, and then we will build up the black pieces in between. You know, and the same thing goes here. You can use those here on the end. And one thing I like too about building roads this way, and like I said, it gives you the flexibility as long as you have the right amount of pieces. You know, you can do a dotted line as a dividing line. You can also build in all kinds of other things like crosswalks where you want to put them. One thing, you know, I could put a hole here, making a manhole cover. You know, it just gives you really opportunity to just kind of build these, build roads as you want, as opposed to having a template that's not very flexible that Lego usually provides, either with the base plates or with some of the new road pieces that have come out. So, all right. So let's check and see how we're doing. You know, there's going to be, we're going to have one more of these that we have to put in on the side. Now let's just double check about where those, put our template up here, just to give ourselves an idea of how far we have to go until the next one. So we've got a little bit of ways to go. So we can go ahead and put another row of bricks on here. Okay. So again, another thing to keep in mind, See right there, it's going to be time for the other guide to go there. Just have to remember to use one of these flat tile and stick it there. And then when we build over it again, it'll get locked into place. Same thing. Like I said, you want to be consistent on that side. Oh, and bear with me because I have to flip this around. I built it the wrong direction. There you go. See, it will sit just like that. With this coming out like that. Just let that sit there for a minute. Actually, you can hold that, and you can again show you what I'm talking about. We've got our template here. We want to make sure this fits into. There you go. Hope you guys can see that good. All right. So again, we're kind of into the home stretch now. And for the purposes of this video, I'm using a lot of, you can see I'm using a lot of fairly large pieces, 1x8s and things like that. You know, if you have a ton of smaller pieces, it just takes a little more time, but you can use a bunch of those too. It all depends on what you got laying around and can use. Okay, again, we've gotten to the point. So we build up here. Ready for some more blocks. Okay. So notice how on the end there, none of that stuff's going to go anywhere. Sorry, my camera angle's not that great. Okay. You can see here though when I lay it flat. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and get this finished. You can build it sideways like this. You can build it up like a wall. See, look at the back of that. Not much to it. It looks kind of weird. In the back, you're like, what am I looking at? Well, nobody's ever going to see it because it's going to lay flat. And you got yourself a nice road. Okay, so we can tell here we're getting close to the end. And this row is one I can do. I can show you. It doesn't have to be all a bunch of huge pizzas. It can just be a bunch of these. Again, the bottom line is just making sure that you have the solid one, solid side facing up. All right, you can see there on the end, we're almost there. One more thing of tiles, and I like to, see we started on the bottom with 4 2x8s. We'll do the same thing here to finish it off. Okay, and I'll show you. So, got a nice road with a dotted dividing line, and by using that template for the, I'd shown you for where to put the holes. See, this is another road I've already built. They lock together.